Hey everybody, welcome to another live Art City tutorial. Hope everybody's well today. It's a beautiful day today here in the Midwest. Today, as on my description, we are going to be making, I'm going to teach you how to make these, what they call clay canes. By they, I mean clay artists, clay sculptors, jewelry makers, figure makers, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to teach you how to do this, how to make little beads or little whatever you want to your pieces of jewelry or whatever it is you are making that you want to add this to. So the different types of clay, there is Sculpey clay, Fimo clay, I don't know how to pronounce it, K-A-Y-T-O, Kato? It might be Kato, but I'm not quite for sure on that. And there's another one, and I do not quite know how to pronounce it. I put it on the description. It starts with C. Anyway, so those are the clays that you can use. There probably are some other brands that I'm not aware of, but I prefer Sculpey clay. Comes in packages like this. Here's a brand new one. Take off my tag so you can see the front of it. Excuse me. Hiccups. Alright, so that's what the front looks like. This one is called Sculpey Primo. And I really like the Primo a lot. I also like the Sculpey 3, which is more, I believe, for beginner. And there's also a Sculpey Souffle, which is really nice. When it bakes to a, like a silky finish, which is really cool. All right, so if you have Sculpey clay, Fimo, whatever, we can start now. If not, you can watch this later and do along with me later. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out what colors of clay you're going to be using, what kind of Sculpey or Fimo or whatever. And you're going to cut a chunk off. Now, the tools you're going to need are some sort of cutter. So I have several different tools. I'm going to scoot this down so you all can see what I got going on here. Okay, so I have a tool that I just bought not too long ago. I just got into clay jewelry making recently. I mean, I did it a long time ago, but I wanted to pick it up again. And I bought this little blade. Now, if you're a kid, you need your adult supervision with this because this is a razor blade. So if your adults buy it for you, that's fantastic, but they should definitely be watching you make it. Okay, and so this is a really long blade for really long pieces of clay. It's pretty awesome, works pretty good. Be extremely careful with it because it's a razor and it is sharp. Also, pardon me. Also, we have X-Acto knives. You could buy an X-Acto knife and cut it that way. And I have several different. I've had these for a really long time. I need new blades, but this one's really nice for cutting. And then we have this one for cutting little long lines. I don't know if you could see that. All right, so those are the things that I have for cutting. I am going to be using this blade that I have, though, because I really like that a lot. And if you do Sculpey clay or you're just getting into Sculpey clay, these blades are fantastic for cutting the clay. Now, to start off, you want to grab a chunk of clay. You want a semi-big chunk of clay. It doesn't have to be too big because, you know, like just starting out, my suggestion is do small pieces of clay. That way, when I say small, I don't mean teeny tiny because that's not going to be enough. You definitely need a chunk, but you don't want to use the whole thing of clay because what happens is when you're learning, you'll mess it up. It's inevitable. You're going to mess it up when you're first learning with these. And it's okay. Sometimes you can recycle them into different colors, which is fine. That's what I do when I mess up. I recycle it into a different color. But you definitely don't want to use all your clay at once when you're first trying this. Okay, so you get yourself a chunk of clay and you're going to do what they call conditioning the clay. And how you condition the clay, that's basically just warming it up and getting it ready to move it around and work with it. Because if you're using Fimo clay, anybody that's used Fimo, if you've never used Fimo and you've thought, and you have some, or you've thought about using it, Fimo is a lot harder. It's, I actually have some here somewhere. Let's see what I got. Okay, here's some. I have some called Fimo Effects. I didn't know actually what it was. I bought it though. Fimo looks like this. It's extremely hard to start working at first. So you really gotta, you really kind of gotta work with it. If you look at it when you're working with it, the Fimo is like, it like breaks apart like this. It has like little crumbles. So you really gotta work with this. This one's a little softer than the normal Fimo, the Effects. The Effects clay is, when it dries to look like a, do you know what a Bakelite is? Bakelite is a type of resin, I think, or something like that, that they used back in the 60s and 70s for jewelry. It's very sought after, that type of jewelry, Bakelite jewelry. They use it for purse handles, all kinds of things. Anyway, when this is baked, it kind of makes it look like plasticky stuff. It's really cool. But I didn't know that's what it was when I bought it, and it's not my style that I do, so I use it very sparingly. Anyway, so that's what the Fimo package looks like, and this is the Sculpey package. So grab yourself a chunk of Sculpey clay. Also, if you don't have a whole lot of Sculpey clay, or you're on a limited budget, this is what I did for mine. Just so I can show you all. I bought this stuff called Sculpey. It's Sculpey 3. It's the same as this stuff, except it's called translucent. So basically, you can mix it in with your clay to make your clay stretch a little further. Now, granted, it will kind of decolor it a little bit, because this is it mixed up with the translucent, and this is what it looks like not mixed with translucent. So you can kind of tell the difference. Not much of one, but a little bit. And also, if you want to see how it bakes when it dries, if you're just baking it normal without anything mixed in, it turns out looking like this. Do you see how that's kind of translucent? It's hard to tell. It's got a translucent look. Anyway, if you just bake it normal, it'll come out looking like a see-through type color, okay? Okay, so that's what I did. I mixed in some translucent with this to give me a bigger chunk. Makes it go further. This thing I bought at Hobby Lobby for 10 bucks. And, you know, they have coupons, so 40% off, you're good to go. Okay, and so there you go. There's a little lesson on how to kind of save a little bit of money with these things. Next thing you want to do is you want to roll your clay out or in a ball to condition it, get it warm. And then also you're going to need a rolling pin, or, I mean, you could probably use your hands. It's not as easy, but you can use your hands. You could also, this is what I did before I bought this. This is an acrylic roller, and I bought this off from Amazon. Super cheap, not expensive. And it's really good because most of the time the clay will peel off it. Now, if you roll it too thin, you're going to have a time peeling it off. It won't, it's hard to come off. It shreds it. But also, if you don't have a acrylic roller like this, it's okay, because if you have any kind of marker or ink pen, so for the longest time, I was using my Mr. Sketch markers as a roller. Works great. Loved it. And, you know, just same thing. If you don't have the roller, you can use a marker. It'll work the same. But I have the roller, so I'm going to use the roller. But that's just a little hack on what you can do if you don't have it. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your clay. Pardon me, I have the hiccups today. And you're going to roll it out. Put a piece of wax paper down, or if you have one of these silicone baking mats or rolling mats, this works fantastic. I used to use the wax paper, and then I realized that this works better. And I got this on Amazon too for a little or nothing. So I like Amazon a lot. So next step is to roll your clay out. All right. You don't want it too extremely thin, but you don't want it too extremely thick, okay? And once you have that rolled out, oh, it's so nice and slick, smooth. then you're going to need another color. So you're going to figure out another color. And so for another color, I think I will use this really pretty magenta-y color because I think it matches pretty well. Really, I wanted to do the brown and the white. I don't know how that would look. Nope. Okay, I'll use this color. It's a lighter color. It's a lighter lavendery, purpley color, and I have more of it. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so now when you open these up, these are fun to go purchase. Like, I enjoy so much going to the store and just picking out all of my clay colors. So when you open these up, you will notice that it has ridges here. And that's so you can cut them super easy. But I don't know if I'll need, yeah, I might need all that. Let's try it. Well, I'll cut this chunk right here. I'm going to cut this chunk here, and then I'm going to mix it with some of my translucent. So, I would highly suggest going and getting translucent clay because the translucent makes your clay go a longer way. And just cut some of that off, stick it on there. And remember, every time you get new clay, you want to condition it. So conditioning the clay is key to getting it to work. You got to really kind of work with it and mix it in there. Now this one is harder. This clay is harder. Do you see how that broke apart? What kind is that? It's the Sculpey. Okay, this is Sculpey Primo. The Primo is a little. It's a little chunkier, a little like the Fimo. It's a little crumbly when you pull it apart. So working with this one's not going to be as easy. Now, let me just say, when you are conditioning your clay, if you condition it too much, it gets extremely soft. I mean, to the point where it's like butter and it's really hard to work with. If that's the case and you're really having a problem working with it because you've gotten it too soft, it's okay because you can always go back and stick it in the freezer just for a little bit, not a lot, but a little, just to kind of cool it off just a little bit, and then you can start working with it again. That's do you see how soft that is? Look at that, how soft that is. Yeah, that is extremely soft and it's really hard to work with. And a lot of times you gotta be careful because if you mix too much of your translucent in with it, then your stuff becomes way too conditioned and that's no good. So bear with me a second because I really have to work this into my translucent stuff because that's really pretty. Now, it's really tough right now. Okay, also, let me just tell you a little something. When you're folding your clay and you're doing this to mix it, it's really good to roll your clay from the fold. Makes it easier. Goodness, this one's I promise we'll get into it here in a second. Get to the good part. Okay, let's see what we got going. All right, this is pretty thick. Now it's starting to really work its way in. But, you know, I probably should have worked with that. Look at that. See how that's crumbly still? You want to rip that apart. Rip it apart if you can and just keep working with it. Twist it. Whatever you got to do to get it to work in if you're doing translucent. All right. Now I'm starting to get somewhere. Now it's really starting to come together. Okay, now that I got it really worked in there, the next step you're going to do is you're going to take your cutter and, well, no, I'm sorry. You're not going to take your cutter. You're going to roll your one piece of clay, have that nice and conditioned, and then you're going to take your roller and you're going to roll your other piece of clay. I still don't have that mixed in too good, but it's okay. It'll look just fine, just like this. Okay, so then you're going to roll that out. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, and then what's going to happen is you're going to take, you want it about the same thickness. You can kind of feel the thickness when you're feeling it. I think this one's a little thicker than this one. That's okay. Now you're going to take your clay and you're going to set one on top of the other, okay? Don't push too hard. Don't push too hard. And then you're going to take your cutter and you're going to cut, kind of try to make it a square, okay? And then I'm going to peel this apart because I can reuse that for later. All right, and you're going to kind of make a square here and peel that apart because I want to save that. Save your clay, conserve, conserve. Okay, and then you want to just make a square. Oh, this is going to be pretty. This is going to be a pretty polymer cane. That's what they call them. They call them polymer canes. And I want to straighten this out a little bit. Okay, now that I've got that, now that we've got that, it should look like this. Do you see that? It's hard to... All right, now once you have that, you're going to look from the top, okay? And you're going to slice it. You're going to slice your clay. Can you see that? Let me try to zoom up just a little. I don't know how far my camera can go down, about that far. Okay. You're going to slice your clay right in the middle as good as you can. You always want to look down from the top. That way you get a really good eyeball view of if it's even or not. Now, I don't know if I got this even. I'm hoping I did. And then, okay, so now you have two pieces, right? Now what you're going to do is you're going to take that piece that you just cut and you're going to stick that on top of this one. I think I made this way too thick. Okay, and that's okay because now the next step, you're going to push on this just a little bit, okay? Now what you're doing is you're compressing it. You want to take your fingers, squeeze just a little bit. While you're squeezing, you want to pull just a little bit. And push, squeeze, pull. See how I'm doing that? It's already getting longer. All right, and then you want to cut again. Okay, so in the middle, cut in the middle, cut again. Oh, it looks like I didn't get that one even. Oh no, it's not even. It's okay. I'm going to work with it here. And then you're going to take that one and you're going to set that one on top. Now see how my stripes are coming together? Oh, how cute. All right, now push on that. Squeeze. You want to make them even. Squeeze, pull, push. Just like this. This is going to be a really cute, this is going to be a good cane, a good clay cane. Squeeze. Now, I'm not perfect at this by no means, but it's fairly simple. It's not too hard to do this. Once you get the hang of it, it's so simple. All right, now once you have that, then you're going to do it, you're going to take it, you're going to do it one more time. I think I could probably do this one more time. If you have a lot more clay than I do, then you can, now look at that, isn't that pretty? Then you can do it several more times if you want. But this is all I got, so this is what I'm doing. Oh, it turned out good. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, and I'm going to try to fix my stripe here because that's messed up. All right, I'm going to take it, and we're going to stick it together. I'm going to do it on this. Nope, stick it on. Stick it together, just like that. You want to squeeze it just a little bit. Oh, one side is thicker than the other. It's giving me problems. Try to push it together. So this is, you see how I'm doing that? Pushing it. All right, now if you need to, very easily, don't push hard because it's gonna pinch it together, and you really don't want to mess your stripes up. So let's see. And you don't want to roll sideways. If you roll sideways, that's going to mess them up too. Well, these aren't perfect, but it's okay. You get the gist of it, right? All right, and then you're going to squeeze, pull. Squeeze, pull, very easily. See how I'm doing this? All right, now take your roller and start rolling very lightly, not hard. You don't want to distort your stripes too much. Very easily. No distortion. Oh, this has turned out great. Very easy. You don't have to apply a lot of pressure. Now, if you have thin clay already, you want to stop. You don't want to get it too thin because you want it to show up, because there's still other steps we got to do. Look on the other side, it doesn't look that great, but that's okay. That side looks perfect. Okay, now I'm going to cut off the ends. Make them straight. And you could probably use this in something, so just set that aside. Now this is what I got so far on both ends. Okay, next step is you're going to take a piece of clay. I don't know what color you want. What color should I do? What color would look good with this? This hot pink would be pretty. Maybe a pretty blue or a green. This green would look good. Or I also have, nope. You know what? I'm going to try white in the middle. I'm going to do white. So I already have some white here. So you're going to take this, your white, and condition it. Don't forget. Also, if you have been working with your clay and you're working with, and you pick up the white, make sure you do not have any residue, any color residue on your hands, because it will, if you look at this, you can see there's orange on that from when I worked with this earlier. It will leave a tint on your clay. So I'm just going to kind of wipe my fingers off just a little bit to get that tint off my clay. Let me straighten this camera. Don't look straight. There we go. Okay. And then condition your clay. Work with it. And then you're going to want to roll it out. Okay, so this right here works really good because when you roll it, it leaves flat. It leaves it looking flat. But basically, I'm trying to get all of the bubbles out by working with it. All right. Now, once you have it like, yep, I saw a bubble. Once you have that going, now you just want to start rolling the, see, look, I got a bubble right there. If you have a bubble, pinch it and take it out. Push it down. Start rolling the clay until you get it the size that you want, that you think this is going to fit around, because we're basically just going to stick this in the middle. Now, you could do several different rolls if you wanted. They have these things called clay extruders, and I wish mine would have came today because I ordered one, and it's supposed to be here today, but it hasn't arrived yet. But a clay extruder is super awesome, and I cannot wait to try it. I've been watching all videos on it. Clay extruder, you put this clay in like a little, it's like a little handheld machine type of thing that you hand work it, and put your little pieces of clay in it, and it has different little discs with different shapes in it. And then when you crank it, it pushes out the clay out the shape of the hole, and it gives you different shapes. And it's really cool because you can make perfect cylinders. Like, these aren't perfect because you're hand doing it. I mean, you can get it close to perfect, but when you use the extruder, way better. And you can get those on Amazon too. Okay, so now that you've done that, the next step is to take your clay that you made, your roll you just did, cut some of this off, and then you're going to stick that right in the middle. Okay? And then cut the end off there. Cut this side off. Then you could save that for later. All right. And then the next step is to take this, and you can put your roll right here if you want, if it makes it easier. And then just start rolling it. Well, ooh, no, take that back. This is not ready. Oh, no. Hold on. I got to fix this. Okay. Do over. Do not do that. I forgot I did it wrong. Take your clay, keep it in the middle, like I said, and then wrap it around like this. Now, do you see that? How that's breaking on me? It's not supposed to do that. So you really kind of want to work with it. My clay must have not been conditioned good enough because it's not wanting to work for me. Oh, no. Well, maybe I can fix it. So squeeze. When this happens, this is the result of not conditioning your clay good enough. So make sure it's conditioned a lot better, or have a bigger clay ball in there. Because now what's happened is my clay is not going to work proper. Now I'm just going to push it back together. It'll work good enough. I just need to fix it. Get it to stick again here. There we go. I don't think I had it thin enough. It wasn't sticking enough. Okay, now I think hopefully I got it. And I'm going to make the clay roll bigger. So you all are following along and seeing my mistakes, and that's good. Nobody's perfect. All right, so now make your, like I said, make your roll once again. I think maybe I'm going to leave it this size because I had it too thin before. So now that I have it that size, now you're going to work with it. Yeah, it's still not wanting to. I think it's the purple. The purple, for some reason, is just not wanting to work for me. It's just not wanting to. What's going on with it? All right, well, I'm going to try it anyway. Let's go with it. Go with it. All right, so mine is starting to have little cracks in it. You see that? All right, so I'm working with it to put it back together as good as possible. There we go. It's getting there. I'm getting it. You just got to work with it. Push it together. Okay, and then once you have it all the way to there, you want to cut off the extra, okay? And then just push it together. Then once you have that, you want to start squeezing, okay? And hopefully, if you had any cracks like I did, it will fix it. Now listen, this is the problem, okay? When you start to do this, part, your clay is going to want to naturally twist, okay? So when you're rolling it, it's going to want to twist, and the lines are going to want to not be straight. So you're going to have to stop every once in a while and straighten out your lines. So I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to cut this part off. All right, and then you're going to start to, see now I have air holes in between that roll and this clay, and it's causing a problem when I roll it. Okay, there we go. All right, now you're going to start rolling it very easy. Okay. I'm going to show you what I mean about this here in a second. All right, now if you look, it's wanting to twist right here. You see that? You want to straighten that back up. So go through and straighten it. Make sure that your lines are straight. And then start again. Roll. I have to squeeze mine more because there's holes in it, and that's not working too good for me. I can feel them in there. Either that or this is making noise. There you go. Roll. Make sure it's straight as you can get it. All right. Now, once you've got it to the size you want, the next step, that's about as good as I'm going to get right now, okay? So now we've got that. They look pretty straight considering what I just went through with the cracks in my clay. Now, the next step is to take another color and you're going to wrap it around this one. And so I'm not going to wrap more like a lot of color around this, so I'm going to cut this off and do a smaller piece of it because I don't want to wrap the whole thing. All right, so I'm going to take pink now. Pink. I'm going to do a darker purple. Maybe a darker purple would look good. And I hope this is not the Primo because the Primos, I don't like the Primo as much as the Sculpey 3, although I think the Primo may be a little more of an artist grade. All right, so then I'm going to take, yeah, this is Sculpey 3. They also have a Super Sculpey. It's called Super Sculpey, and it comes in a bigger pack. Comes in a pack like this one, but in a box. And it definitely is artist grade Sculpey, and but it's a translucent. I think they have translucent, and I think they might have like a peachy color also. All right, so when you get your clay, your last color, roll it out. Oh yeah, I like this purple. I haven't really worked with this one too much. I really like it a lot. All right, once you have that, then you're going to set your clay roll on top, like this. And then I'm going to cut this part off because it's too little. You don't really want overlapping clay. Actually, I'm going to do it like that. There we go. And then cut that off. Now it's even with my roll, right? And now you're going to take it and you're just going to wrap it. Roll it on there. Now once you have that, now you cut off that extra, because if you leave the extra on, then it's going to be bigger on one side, and you don't want that. You want it to be even. So cut the extra off. And then push it down. And then you're going to start rolling again. Now, what happens is when you roll this, you're really starting to work with it. Oh, it's starting to look really good. Look how even that is. What happens is the end starts to come in on itself. And that's okay because you just cut that off, okay? So just roll it. All right, now I think I'm done. I'm going to cut the end off. Now, let me just say to you, if when you're cutting your clay, they have several tools you can use where your clay, where it won't make your clay smush. My clay is extremely soft right now. So what I would normally do in this situation is I would take my clay, I would stick it in the freezer, let it sit there for a little while, and then bring it out and start to cut it, because they do have clay cutters that you could do. There's different methods. Look it up on YouTube and it'll be on there. But if you've worked with this too much, it's too soft and it's going to squish your clay. And I'll show you how to fix that if you don't have a freezer readily available wherever you're at, okay? So you're just going to, let me try to zoom up just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing even closer. Okay. Now you're going to take your blade and you're going to put it in. Don't do thin. If you do thin, it's going to smush it. It's going to smush it right down. So you want to kind of do a little thick. And you're going to take your blade, look from the top really fast. Okay? And then, now I have squished it a little bit. Just a little. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my acrylic roller that I have, and I'm just going to put it on here, and I'm going to push very lightly, not hard, and then peel it off. And then this is what we got. This is what you should have after following the tutorial. And then you can just cut as many of those as you want, and then you can add them onto another something, or you could take this whole roll and you could stick it in with a bunch of other different rolls to make it look even more different. You can even take these and you can do triangles with these. You can make shapes and make a triangle with it, and then add it into the bigger roll. Some people make really huge rolls of this stuff, and it's super awesome. Anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed my Sculpey clay tutorial today, how to make canes. Maybe I'll do another type of Sculpey something later with a different type of style that we can do. It's been a lot of fun. Tomorrow I'll be back on again at 11 o'clock to do another fun something. Until then, check us out at citymuseum.org, all information, and follow us on Facebook. Have a great day. See you later.